I'm dead.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah,
all right.
Go.
Hey guys, I'm Nate, and you guys have not met Cody, but this is Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Cody, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself to start?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Cody. I am partnered here with Nate. I'm his assistant coach. So yeah, I like to help out with any of the back end stuff usually. And I am a personal trainer. I've been certified for about 2 years now, and I've been in the fitness industry overall since 2017. And yeah, I live in LA. It's a lot of fun. We're trying to get Nate to move here. And yeah, that's pretty much that.
Yeah. So as you guys know, as we start this program, I am not as knowledgeable as Cody here. So any of the questions that you guys do have that I can't answer, we go to Cody, and he always helps us out, whether it's dietary or fitness advice or anything like that. But I just want to introduce you guys to him. We love Cody. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So basically what we're going to do here today, I think, is what would be really cool is I wished you guys were sitting in front of us and we could have some questions for you, but we're going to answer basically the hot questions and kind of get to know you better because I don't even know you as much as I want to. And so, yeah, I'm just going to start off with asking you some questions and you can ask me some questions too. So basically what I want to know, Nate, is what has been, how's your journey been? Can you rewind the screen back to, you feeling overweight, defeated, and all those feelings? We obviously know where you're at now, but can we go back to that time? And how were you feeling as far as, your mental goes?
When right before I started, how I felt?
Before you started your journey, how did you feel?
Yeah.
And, where was your mental?
So before I started my mental journey, as some of you guys may or may not know, I had no self-esteem, no self-confidence. I had just come out of a very long-term relationship that was very toxic, abusive mentally, to the point where I didn't feel like I could do anything, right? I woke up every morning and, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to, read. I didn't want to educate myself. And I was just, unfortunately, at the lowest point in my life. So it was kind of coming to terms with who I was as a person and understanding that, everyone is worth love and everyone is, worth being the best version of themselves, and really, self-evaluating myself for a period of time before actually coming to terms with who I was and working on myself to be the best version of myself.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think what my favorite thing about you is that you are an amazingly gorgeous, talented person, but you're literally the nicest person ever. 100%, from the day one that we jumped on a call together, I was like, what? This guy, period. You're more than just this fandom, this whatever, this figure. It's you are just a real person, and I love that about you. But what made that switch for you when you were how did you make that switch? When you were oh, I was feeling defeated, anything? What was the final thing that clicked, the nail in the coffin?
So when I got out of the relationship, I remember just looking at myself in the mirror and crying and really just trying to figure my life out. But it was about a week and a half after that where I was starting to read books. I'm not a reader by any means. I was trying to just pick up books and read them. One of them was called Curing the People-Pleasing Syndrome. Another one was called, I think, I can't remember what it's called. It's the archaeology. No, I don't know.
I'm not a reader as well. Just putting that out there.
They were all self-help books because I didn't know how to help myself. So
I love that. You were doing your own therapy.
Yeah, I was trying to, and unfortunately, it wasn't really working for me. But that's when I actually went to the gym, and there's a little bit in between here and what I'm going to be talking about, but I did go into the gym, turn around, walked out, didn't go back, that type of thing. But after I had figured out a way to work on my mental health and going to the gym, to me it was that process of being there and realizing that even if I'm working 15 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be anything. That 15 minutes was more than I had worked on myself in the past month. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is something. I'm actually doing something for myself, and if I'm doing the best that I can. No one that has told me, you're not going to amount to anything has any right to say, because at least it's the best I can do. And there was this moment where, about just after kind of starting to work on myself for a while, and actually I never told my mom that me and my past partner had broken up, even to this point, because I was just, scared of everything. But my mom looked at me and she said, I have my Nathan back.
Oh my God.
Because for so many years I had lost myself. I didn't care about myself, and it really was that kind of turning point of realizing that any progress you're making for yourself is amazing.
Worth it,
Worth
100%. And you can see that, and I think that's similar to my journey. It's like started more mindset based,
Yeah.
and I think that's where most people are, and that's how you start off a journey healthy. Is that you are like, you understand that you do want to change, and then you realize that it's more for yourself. Like, you're doing it literally for yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know that, then you figure that out after your first month of working out. You're like, oh no, it's helping me so much.
Yep.
At least for me, and what I've seen mostly in other clients too that we've had too. So that's amazing. Do you think that it was harder to be consistent at the beginning or now? What do you think is more harder to stay consistent now versus when you first were starting out? What do you think was harder?
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting question, because I think there's elements that were harder back then and elements that are harder now.
I love this.
So when I first started working out, and many of you guys are going to be in a very similar mindset and journey to what I went through probably, but it's very hard to look at yourself and understand that even if you can't, for me, I remember the first time I went running, because I really wanted to be able to run. I ran down my block, which is a span of maybe 300 feet. And I was winded. I couldn't do it. I basically had to turn around. I stopped completely.
Wow.
And it was at that moment that I realized that I am not in shape. I am really out of shape. I couldn't do any push-ups, and there's a piece of me that you want to give up, because you're like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it also gives you the drive to push yourself to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and as you're going through that and starting to make progress, and as you guys continue to make progress, whether it's month 1, month 2, month 3, whatever it is, once you start seeing that progress, you're gonna be fueled by that, and you'll pick it up, and you'll stay motivated, you'll stay consistent, and you're gonna you're not going to want to go a day without working out. At least that's what happened to me. Now I'm at a point where I'm not going to say it's hard to be motivated, but my motivation comes from something slightly different. Rather than, trying to necessarily see the progress that I had been seeing back then, it's like my motivation comes a lot from you guys, from the community, from being able to share my experience with you guys. And I always think to myself, if I'm not doing it, why would you guys
exactly
do it,
yeah
right?
why
So I like to just feel like we're in this together as a community. So that's what motivates me now. But
no, I feel the same way, and I feel like starting out is so hard, and it's a totally different journey, but at the end of the day, it's still you have to stay consistent and just work through it. And that's exactly what you guys are going through right now, is what I take from that part of the story, is really just believing in yourself and staying consistent. The number one thing, even if you start out with the month 1 and you're like, I can only do half these workouts, or I can only do some of them, that's better than where you were. And that's the most important thing that I gather from that little shit that you shared right there. And also that it is awesome. The grass isn't always green on the other side, per se. There's always going to be next challenges, but there are just going to be different challenges.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to see your work, and anybody that's been in the fitness industry, to see your work pay off, and you guys to see your changes and things like that have already came and that are going to come. Really freaking awesome. So that segues me into another question that I have, is how do you feel, it's a two-parter again, how did you feel when you obviously started this journey? It was harder, how did people treat you versus how they treat you now with those changes that have came?
Well, and it's funny, because I notice these I guess the way people act towards me to this day very different than it was before, right? And there's good and bad I see on both sides of it. Back before I had started my journey, there were certain people in my life, like I had talked about in my previous relationship, where I was treated horribly. right? And
Totally.
I was told I couldn't amount to anything, I couldn't do anything, and being put down in that capacity, you don't, you just, at least for me, it took out the will to make progress.
100%.
And you need a community, you need people to support you and push you to be doing the absolute best you possibly can, right? So there's that side of it. Now, what I also find funny is like the question kind of also talks about how, you know, people see you. You know, I always talk about judging a book by its cover, right?
100%.
And it's very, you know, it's unfortunate that that happens, but I noticed that a lot back then and also right now. Back when I was, you know, a little overweight, a little fluffy, and I was going to game stores and buying Pokemon cards and all this type of stuff, you know, it was interesting because I was treated better.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I was treated better at those places, right?
Because it was like the niche, like
Yeah,
fit in? Like,
yeah. Which is interesting.
crap.
So like when I was at, you know, and Disney's maybe not the exact example, but I was more welcomed and I guess accepted in this weird kind of place. But then at the same time, vice versa, I went to the company I was working at that time, and you know, I was not treated well when I was, you know, slightly overweight, because
100%.
those people that were the CEOs and executives of that company were your stereotypical alpha male, men's man, boys club type people.
Period.
And you know, it wasn't until I started making that fitness journey and getting into shape and looking a certain way that I fit into, you know, who they wanted in their company, which is this gross thing.
Oh, it's
right?
terrible.
So, but then at the same time, they'd be asking me, like, I come into work and they'd be like, "Did you watch the game last night?" I was like, "No, I did not. I was playing Pokemon."
Sorry, no, the game was calling. My different type of version of game, literally.
But it was so interesting, and then even I noticed it just recently. You know, going into a different game store to pick up some board games, right?
What game store was that?
401 Games.
Shout out. No, just kidding.
But I wasn't treated bad in any way. But like, you know, you feel like almost outcast in some capacity there too, because you know I'm in my fitness clothes and all that type of stuff. But it's this very weird thing. But what has been so amazing about this community, and you know the way I am treated here with you guys on TikTok, on Instagram, and the way I want to make sure every one of you guys feels across the board, is that every single person, no matter your background, where you come from, where you're on your journey, you feel 1,000% accepted, you feel loved, and you feel that you're capable of anything. And you know, I like to say that, you know, again, I think every body is beautiful, like we talk about that, but you know, we want you to be healthy, we want you to be the best version of yourself possible. So, yeah, you're going to definitely, over the journey, no matter where you're at now or where you will be in the future, you're going to experience people making fun of you. You're going to experience people, you know, judging a book by its cover. But that's just the world we live in, unfortunately. But as a community, we can, you know, we can show people who we are on the inside, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So, yeah. I love us.
I love that. Yeah, I love that answer. No, that's why I love you. I told you. Started off with saying you're just such a nice person, and it's like you're exact same as you are sitting here as TikTok or wherever. You're literally the same person. Even better, but no, it's unbelievable. Even nicer, no. But I think that's the huge thing about what you've created here is that it is a community, and like it's all different types of people, but it's like it's just a community. It's an amazing community, and it goes to show you that you can't really, during this process, you can't think about what other people are thinking. And I know that sounds terrible because of the way the society and the world we live in, but you really can't. You kind of have to, again, do this journey for yourself and put yourself number one and be involved with your feelings is what I gather from that too. And that's crazy too that you still get, I mean, it's for me as a gay person, like I understand that because even the gay community or even me working out in a bro-y gym like Equinox or anything like that, sometimes it is awkward going in there because they're like, who is this like little gay guy but also he can lift good? And I'm just like, yeah, like it's so weird. And you know those conversations that may happen at the gym, and I'm just like, I'm the same as you where you were like, no, I didn't see the game last night, I was actually playing a video game. That's me sometimes at the gym too, where I'm like, no, but I gotta go, like or whatever, or you know, so. But yeah, it's very important to belong and like own the room you're in and own your space, and like let yourself be in control of your own thoughts. So it was a great little story, great little answer.
Yeah.
So, let me see, anything else that I want to ask? As far as like your nutrition, obviously we help people out with the nutrition. You're pretty open about how we want the plans to work and how to use them, and not to be too strict on them, and not to be, on them like you have to stick to a meal or restricted and like crazy about it. But like as far as you go, how has your nutrition changed, again, comparing your old self to your new self? That Nate, like what was your knowledge on nutrition? And how did it change? And do you look at things differently? Like, do you read labels? Do you ingredients? Dive into us? Tell us.
So I think, the nutrition plans that we get from the program, of course, eating breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that fit within the calories that you need more than anything else. But when I was on my journey, it was slightly different. My journey was very much I didn't have anyone there to help me, tell me what I needed. So I was kind of honestly just flying by the seat of my pants and trying to figure it out as I went through it, right?
Totally.
So the way that I did it, which worked, very well, was doing it the same way that we are doing the workouts. That I would, I want to tell you guys to look at your meals and stuff like that too, is by building habits and micro habits, starting with something very small, building it into a lifestyle that you can sustain and keep with, right? So one of the simplest things for me was like we were just talking about this. I drink so much coffee.
Yeah.
Like
we were just talking about this. I'm drinking coffee right now.
but I would have my black coffee with 3 creams and some sugar in it, right? Over the course of the first week, I was like, maybe I just need 2 creams, right?
Wow.
And I slowly built that up. Next week, took out another cream. Now I drink black coffee, right?
So good though.
Yeah,
you get used to it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But it's those type of things where I'd be having my hamburgers or nothing that healthy to begin with, but I would make these small choices where it's like, okay, I don't need mayo on my hamburger today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go without it, and or maybe like instead of ketchup, I'll put on a slice of tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And those kind of small little habits to me were what really kind of changed it and changed the way that my diet kind of worked. I do think a large portion of it too was just on understanding how many calories my body actually needed.
Huge.
Because and again, that's where we're able to help you out too, by kind of giving you guys a plan that will fit with the calories that you need. But the first month that I was doing my workouts, the same way that I approach most things in my life, I like to kind of learn about me,
Mm-hmm.
and then try and figure out a way to best work with that. So I spent the first month on MyFitnessPal,
Mm-hmm.
and I would track everything I ate, right? And I did not care if I went up in weight, down in weight, stayed the same. I just wanted to know what I was eating and how many calories I was eating over the course of that month. And by the end, I was like, okay, I went up a couple of pounds, right? And this is what I tell you guys too is, yeah, you're going to go up and down weight as you go through your journey, but it's understanding yourself and then implementing a way to get to the place that you want. So I went up a few pounds, but I knew how many calories I was eating, and I was like, okay, this is how many calories it takes for me to lose a pound, which is like 3,500 calories.
Mm-hmm.
So if I went up 2 pounds over the course of 2 weeks, I was 7,000 calories above.
Yep.
So then all I need to do is subtract that 7,000 from those 2 weeks, or 3,500 a week, whatever it is, and I could kind of figure out how many calories I need during the week. So it was really kind of figuring out how many calories I'm eating and then going from there. But again, I'm also not the person that measures out my food.
No, I
ever.
can't.
I can't.
I can't either, and I'm just glad we're not those type of people. And we're not gonna. No,
No.
that's how I feel, and it's great if that works with your lifestyle. Yeah. I can't do that. It's not the way for me in my fitness journey. I did the same thing, similar. I can't wait it out.
Yeah. So it was very much of like, okay, this is my normal eating routine, and I need to subtract maybe about this much.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
100%.
So I'm not counting calories or doing anything like that after a certain point, but I know how much roughly I'm eating. And again, with the meal plans, guys, that you guys are getting and things like that, you can use those to a T, but even if you don't, understand that that's how many calories you're needing and how much you should be having about.
Yeah, and we have that knowledge bubble in there for you too that kind of helps you with that. And it's just, I think, about not taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then that's when things don't work. It's about making, like you said,
Lifestyle.
small little changes to help a lifestyle. And that's why I think that's why people fail with these fad diets and things like this, because there's no such thing as quick fixes in a sense. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
So how do you think that, so that's kind of what you were doing, that's how you started. Where does that put you now? Like where, like are you, like what are you usually eating now? Are you more focused on protein now? Like what is your main like?
Well, I think right now I'm bad when it comes to shopping, because I think COVID honestly kind of changed my life when it came to shopping, and I started, ordering more food and some of this type of stuff, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but I still have the same mindset of like, if I'm going to order food, I know I want chicken. I know I want like high protein foods. I know I need stuff that's going to satiate me, because I like to eat a lot.
Yeah, you're a volume eater.
I'm a volume eater for sure. A lot of times what I'll do too is a lot of protein shakes. Like I will have like 2 or 3 protein shakes a day, but also
That's ridiculous. First of all, wow,
a day. It's a lot, but again, it has to be a reminder to you guys that if you are taking supplements or anything like that, it's a supplement. It's supplementing the meals you're having. So if I'm having 2 or 3 protein shakes a day, it's because one, I unfortunately don't have time to make myself a full meal or something like that, and I'm like, okay, this will get into my body. This is what I need. Again, high protein, that type of stuff. But I would say the way I eat now is not unfortunately, but it's less meals, but I'm very specific about how many calories I'm getting over the course of the entire day.
Yeah.
And high protein.
Yeah, definitely. Same. Protein is the way to go, to be honest. If you're going to track something in protein, I'm like, go with protein. More protein, the better. That's freaking awesome. I love that. So that's really cool to know. I have a similar kind of journey. Like, that's exactly what I did, but I did the kind of the opposite. It's like, I wasn't a volume eater.
Did you ever do intermittent fasting?
I did not, and I'm trying to work on it now.
Yeah.
Because I usually like to have like 1 meal a day. And so it would be great. It would be great for my lifestyle. But then I'm like, oh shoot, now I'm not getting enough protein in. Yeah. So now I'm trying to eat. I'm eating more. I'll have a shake in the morning. I'll have things like, so I'm spreading out my meals, which has made it harder to try intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Because I know all the freaking benefits. There's so many, allegedly. But and I know a few people that do it, and they look great. And by something I would love to get into.
Yeah, so, and I know a lot of you guys and other people have asked me about intermittent fasting, and I actually used to do intermittent fasting a lot. Yeah. But the reason, and this is from my understanding of it, and I could be completely wrong, but I think, a calorie is a calorie. Whether you have it at the beginning of the day or the end of the day or throughout the day, to me, I don't think it makes a bit of difference. But that being said, I am a snacker. I like to snack, and the intermittent fasting just kept me accountable.
Yeah, 100%.
Where it was okay.
Wow, I used it as a tool. I see.
Yeah, so I didn't use it because I think it necessarily gave me more benefits.
Yeah.
But I used it, like you said, as a tool so that I wouldn't snack, and then I got my meals and my food during when I could, and then hopefully I wasn't going over what I needed to. It's funny because I think a lot of things about my diet now are like that too. Like a lot of people talk about BCAA, like BCAAs and stuff like that. Again, I don't think they help.
No, I literally stand behind that as well.
Like I don't think I don't think I do anything, but I love the taste and it makes me drink water.
It's using it as a tool. I agree, and they do. There's some fun. There's really good ones.
Tasty,
literally like.
Yeah, so I started doing that, and I've moved now a little bit to like Mio and things like that because they're way cheaper. But I'm bad at drinking water, so again, I try and find ways to use tools to get me to have the right amount of water and eat when I'm supposed to and not overeat and things like that.
Yeah.
But
to implement those habits, like to create it in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
No, that's really awesome. I think that's been why you've been so successful, is because again, you were like, how can I make this work for my life? Like, what tools can I have to be realistic? Yeah. And for me, I want to try intermittent fasting, but only because I think that, not because of your reason, that would be not restricted, but to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I would want to, because I feel like I've heard a lot of things about it, about like making you be able to like get leaner, like you can see you're lean faster, but I just don't know. It seems like a lot of work to do. Like it really. What was your split? Like, did you have a certain amount of time, or were you just like?
I was usually I didn't eat till about 1. in the afternoon.
Okay,
and
so
then-
you did
and
one and then.
It would be like 9, 1 to 9, so 8 hours.
Perfect. Yeah,
so
yeah.
8 and 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'll let you know if I start.
Okay.
I'm dead. No, that's awesome. So, yeah, and I agree about the BCAA things. It's weird because I was like, when I first started getting in fitness in 2017, they were really big and
Yep.
really popping. And then, like, 2019 was when everybody was on them. So I, like, kept buying them and really was not, I didn't feel a difference.
No,
like,
absolutely.
at all. No difference in the gym. Like, so, but they were really tasty, yeah. But I love water, so I'm the exact opposite. I honestly sometimes drink too much water, and I feel like, am I bloaty? I don't know, it scares me sometimes. But that's why I believe in getting a great water bottle that you die for, so. So, cool. What other questions do I have? I don't know. Do you have any for me?
Honestly, we can come back to them too.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's it. And maybe if you guys like this, we can do a few more of these. And if you guys have any questions, you know, put them down here and we can ask them and talk about them or whatever it is.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Amazing.
We love you guys.
Love ya.
Keep up the good work.
All right, and we'll chat soon. Bye.
Bye.